Hi everybody. Many people who don't believe in a God say they don't believe because there's no evidence for a God. But is there really no evidence that God exists? For more about topics on science, religion, or other related things, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit that bell button so you'll be notified when new videos come your way. My name is SUBTITLES from Rise of Truth, where we tackle all kinds of interesting topics. In this video, we'll explore this idea that there's no evidence of a God, and by the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of why it's simply incorrect to put forth this argument that there's absolutely no evidence of a God. So who are the people that make this claim that there's no evidence for a God? This claim usually comes from an atheist or an agnostic, but it can also come from a religious person. A religious person, for example, might say that there's no evidence of a God, but they just simply believe there's one. However, if you dig a little deeper with a religious person, you're going to find that they actually do have some reasons for why they believe that a God exists. You'll see they have some evidence on which they base their belief. Since that's the case, let's look at the other two groups. First, atheism. What is atheism? The definition for atheism is disbelief or lack of belief in a God or gods. The second group is agnostics. An agnostic is defined as a person who believes that nothing is known or can be known of the existence or nature of God. One of the reasons some people support this belief is that they say that religion is a man-made concept, a human construct, a farce, and very often they point to human beings who commit horrible crimes in the name of religion as their justification for wiping out God and religion, just wiping it off the face of the earth. But does their belief that they are right or their desire to do so erase the evidence for a God? If we were to say there is no God, would that erase all the evidence, all the things that exist that support the existence of one? It doesn't. But what are some examples of what we would call evidence for a God? The first evidence is that the attributes of an effect indicate the attribute of its cause. What evidence do we have to support this proof that the attributes of an effect indicate the attributes of its cause? We have the evidence of number one, laws. Laws are present in the effect. Laws exist. The presence of laws in the effect indicate that the cause is a lawmaker. Laws are made by a lawmaker and don't just show up. So the lawmaker is the cause, and a lawmaker as the cause would indicate that the cause is knowledgeable. So that is one component of the evidence. The second is systems and organization. The presence of organization in the effect indicates or points to the cause being an organizer. This also indicates a knowledgeable cause. Number three is purpose. The presence of purpose in the effect indicates that its cause is purposeful. It indicates that the cause, or whatever brought about the effect of purpose, is itself purposeful and knowledgeable. Number four is wisdom. Causing an effect, whether in speech or action, has the attribute of wisdom. So the effect of wisdom through either of these means, either speech or action, indicates that its cause is wise and also has the attribute of knowledge. Let's look at a couple of simple examples. When you look at a stand of fruit trees that are planted in an organized way, you'd most likely agree that a lot of planning went into planting those trees in this organized manner. The organizer would have to have knowledge about spacing the trees and spacing them properly based on their type of fruit, and would also plan how to organize them and nurture them so they would thrive. You would deem the one who planted those trees organized and purposeful. They would also have to be knowledgeable and conscious, and you would readily admit that one or more human beings had planted those trees. In contrast, when you see random unorganized trees in a forest, for example, you would readily admit that, in that instance, a human being did not plant those trees. There are many other examples of processes or projects that involve organization and planning that demonstrate purpose, wisdom, and knowledge with human beings, but another example of the evidence has to do with laws. Again, laws indicate a lawmaker. Not only do they indicate a lawmaker, but they also lead to organization, which indicates the cause. That being an organizer and lawmaker who is, again, knowledgeable and wise. Okay, so let's look at an example of this, which is traffic lights at an intersection. When you see an intersection and there are traffic lights, it's obvious that those lights are there to organize traffic, which creates order, which is also a reduction of chaos, such as car accidents and injuries and so on. When we observe this setup and see how smoothly the traffic flows when people obey the rules of the road, we clearly know then that there's an organizing force that placed those traffic lights because they wanted organization. This indicates a conscious, knowledgeable organizer. The organization is a result of the organizer, and the laws are a result of the cause, which is the lawmaker. We can apply this to the universe as well. The universe follows laws. The laws of gravity, electromagnetic forces, and the strong and weak nuclear forces all impose universal laws of movement. This is similar to the organization of traffic that allows for movement of traffic, but of course on a more huge, massive level when we're talking about the universe. Without these forces that impose universal laws of movement, matter wouldn't exist in our universe and we wouldn't exist either. And we all realize this to some degree. Now what you'll find, going back to the traffic example, is that people have no problem making the conclusion that those traffic lights were placed purposefully for the sake of organization, and that someone planned out the placement and organization of the traffic lights and laws, and that this human or humans who did this intended organization and purpose. Planning the work required to place these traffic lights was done, and it required someone who was knowledgeable and intended organization. The plan of placing those traffic lights was implemented and orchestrated with a purpose by a knowledgeable one and an organizer or organizers. We have many examples within our universe that the attributes of an effect indicate the attributes of the cause. Yet do we conclude or even entertain the idea that a knowledgeable and wise force set down the proven scientific laws that organize and govern the movement of the entire universe? Whether or not a person insists on denying the evidence is up to them. However, if the atheist or anyone says that the organization of the universe is without an organizer or a God, then they should be fair to themselves and everyone else. They should also apply randomness to the traffic light example, just as they do with the universe. They should be fair and just come out and say that the traffic lights constructed themselves and made their way to the intersection all by themselves. Because is it reasonable to say that there's an organizer when we see order and laws in one place, and then say there's no knowledgeable organizer when we see order and laws in another? I'd love to hear your answer to this question. Please feel free to comment about the content of this video and share your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. And if you'd like to join a community of truth seekers just like you, please join our Facebook group, Rise of Truth, where we talk about all kinds of topics, including science, religion, health, and anything else that might be of interest to you. Thanks again for watching, and see you again soon. This video was inspired by the book The Atheism Delusion by Ahmed Al-Hasan.